Hi, it's Heather. I am back with another process video. Thank you for joining me. I am working on another layout with a collection from Cocoa Vanilla Studios. I have two collections in my stash and they are all mixed together. So forgive me, I may not be able to tell you which one is which. I know the majority of it is the Hello Lovely collection, but both of them were so close in color, and I had not little, but used the majority of it for each, so I just mixed it together. So what I am starting with is one of their pattern papers that I trimmed down to 11 by 11, and I am matting it with another pattern paper that I gutted, and then applying both of those to a piece of brown cardstock because I don't really use brown cardstock a lot. So, and you can see there, I always have the biggest trouble with putting it down straight, and it never happens that I get it completely straight. So I have to try and pull it up, and it's fine. But what I began working on after that is backing a cut file. It is a Paige Evans cut file, and it's pretty large. It says thankful, blessed, and grateful. And I cut it out of one of the pattern papers from the collection as well. It's like a light wood grain. So I used that because I knew I wanted to back it with all of the pretty colorful pattern papers. So I started with the flowered one. It has like small clusters of flowers on a brown background, and I use one of the other flower pattern papers to back the thankful, and then one of the blue pattern papers, which I think just has dots on it, to back the blessed part. So I made this cut file pretty big in Silhouette Studio, so it would span the whole width of my layout. I like doing that sometimes with cut files because it creates such a huge design element that you don't really have a lot of room for anything else. So it really kind of helps you plan out the design just by starting with a large cut file. So I started by gluing all the papers down and then I kept missing it. Like I kept gluing it and then getting glue all over my mat. So I ended up using a lot of washi tape to back it. So there it is, all finished, and I really like the way that it looks. So I'm going to place it at the bottom after I put it up on some foam, which is just that cheap fun foam. And I like to buy the adhesive backed fun foam because it makes it really easy and less time consuming to add adhesive to both sides. So there's just a strip on the back of it, just like there is with double-sided tape. So I cut it up into little pieces, and this was quite time consuming, but I think it was worth it. Since there really isn't a lot of room for anything else other than the photo and some embellishments on this page, I really wanted to pop it up to give the layout some dimension. So like I said, this takes me a little bit. I don't make you watch me do the whole part, but I think adding some dimension either to your cut files or your photos definitely makes the layout a little bit more interesting. So the photo that I am using is of myself and my daughter and my parents and my younger brother, and we had just had dinner celebrating my younger brother's birthday, which he is exactly 10 years younger than me. It's a big span there. But we, as a family, get together for pretty much every birthday, and our immediate family at least. And May is an extremely busy month because my daughter's birthday is in May, my husband's birthday is in May, and my younger brother's birthday is in May, as well as my older brother. And then on top of that, there's Mother's Day. So we have a pretty busy month. But we always get together either at a restaurant or at my mother's house, and I always try and get these photos as a family together. And my husband's not in the photo because, well, he's the one taking it. So, so I had already applied a layer of clear gesso to the pattern paper. And even though there's going to be a lot covered up because of the cut file and the photo, I still wanted to add some mixed media to the background that would peek in and around the open spots. So I'm just adding some shimmers. That was Jenny B Blue, which is one of my favorites. I have used pretty much the whole bottle and I can't spray it anymore. I have to use a brush. That is Heidi Swap. Yeah, Heidi Swap Color Shine. And I think I also bring in Shimmers, which is a pop art pink. That's probably a very close second to my favorite color. It's a very light pink, but it has this gold shimmer mixed in, so you have to mix it up really well. And it doesn't really match the collection, but the darker pinks that I have didn't match either. So I figured going lighter is better, especially when there's already so much going on. So right now that is all dry, and I am adding some glue to the fun foam that I backed my cut file with. That is my fine line bottle that I fill with Scotch Quick Dry? I think the name changed a while ago, but I use that glue pretty much on everything. You fill that bottle, and I know sometimes people mix it with water, but I've never done that and I've never had a problem. Just make sure that you put the cap on kind of fairly quickly after you've used it, because it will get dried up and difficult to place that top back in. But it dries so quickly, just like in the name, and it's pretty strong. So I like it because I can fill that bottle and still have some glue left in the original bottle, and I use so much less with using the fine line bottle than you normally would. It puts out a thin line, so you don't get a lot of warping. So if you haven't invested in the fine line bottles, you definitely should try it. So I am just going through all of the embellishments that I have left over and the cut apart sheets. So I recently posted another layout using the same collections, and this one I actually made before the other one, but I posted the other one first. And so you see I have a lot of stuff on the right hand side that I don't end up using most of, because that actually ends up on my next layout. But I just layer some ephemera and the flowers that came in the die cut pack around my photo, and I was having such a great time just adding all these pretty elements. I didn't plan for my journaling. I have that problem a lot. I start adding, especially with a layout that has such a big cut file, I completely forget about journaling, and I know that I wanted to add some comments about what this photo was and where we were. So you can see that tag that's tucked in behind those cards that says best day ever. I was actually planning on adding that there just for another layer, but I end up gluing those cards down in a way that I can still tuck that tag in. So typically I like to have the journaling out on the page, so you can read it when you're looking through my albums, but sometimes that doesn't always happen. So at least it's there, and I do add some twine to it, and I just basically, mention what I explained earlier about our family dinners and all the family selfies. It's funny because after we have dinner and we're outside of restaurants, we're usually standing outside the door snapping our photos, and sometimes we've even brought those silly little selfie sticks when all of us are there to try and get us all in the photo, and they don't always turn out well, but I keep them anyway. So to finish up the layout, I add a couple of those butterflies, and I think those were stickers, and I popped up the wings with some little small pop dots, and I am just placing some small little embellishments like little flowers and the flare button there that I added some thread underneath and stuck it on top of a round, it's not a tag, it's a sticker, but I guess a journaling spot that was on the sticker sheet, just to give it a base. I don't know, I like the way that it looked. So I ended up stapling the cluster to the left of the photo. There's a couple of cards and like little tickets, ephemera. I ended up stapling it all together, and that's how I was able to tuck the tag in for my journaling. So last bit of embellishments, there's some hearts from the sticker sheet, which I added a few of, and some of those small little tiny details at the end of the layout are some of the ones I have the most trouble with, so I move them around quite a bit. It's more because I'm trying to distribute color. I don't want too much of a color in a certain area, if that makes sense. So I do add some shimmer on the butterflies and maybe the hearts. Yeah, the hearts too with my Nuvo shimmer pen. And I have mentioned this before that I love that. I love my Wink Estella, but I love that shimmer pen because it adds so much. So I added some sequins from Pretty Pink Posh, and that is my finished layout. I hope that you liked it, and that's showing the tag there. I pulled it out just for the still photo. I hope that you enjoyed watching and you found some inspiration of your own. Thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate your support. Please hit like and subscribe, and I will be back soon with another layout. Thanks so much. Have a great day.